Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to talk about JSX. Let's start with JSX definition. JSX stands for JavaScript XML. It is a syntax extension for JavaScript that allows you to use HTML tags or components directly inside your JavaScript file. If you are a beginner, then I know this definition doesn't make any sense to you, but once we will go through the example, we will be able to understand this. So let's start with the example. As you can see, currently I have index.js file. Let me create a component so that we can work with JSX. I'm creating a new component app.js. So before understanding JSX, let's first understand function in JavaScript. So if you see here, this is a simple function in JavaScript. Okay. Now this will be converted into a component once we start returning JSX from this component. Okay, so let's consider we are returning some string. So this is not a React component. Okay, it is a simple function. Now let me return a div from this. Okay, so now this will be considered as React component. So let me export this component and also import React from React. Okay, so the part which we are returning here, this is called JSX. Okay, so in this portion, you can write HTML, valid HTML tags or your own component which you have created. For example, div is a valid HTML element. So I have written div over here. Now I will just write hello world inside it. Okay, and I will import this component in index.js file. Let me save it. You can see it is compiling and you can see the output. So in short, you can see we have .js file, and in JS file we are writing the HTML type of syntax, and because of JSX only this is possible. You can also nest many more components here. Let me put two divs. Okay, and then once I will save it, it will compile it and then you will be able to see the output. Okay, so for this portion is called JSX. Okay, now for best practices, what normally we do, we just wrap this JSX with the small brackets. Now there are some key rules and conventions to keep in mind when you work with JSX in React. First is JSX expression. So you can write JSX expression like this. Let's say you have a constant name is equal to some name here. Then if you want to display this name over here, then what you have to do is you cannot directly write name in this with this tag. If this is a variable and you want to use this variable, then you have to keep it inside curly braces. Okay, then only this particular value will be displayed over here. So let me just remove this hi and save it. Let's see the output. You can see hello John. Okay, so this is one thing which you need to remember. Other thing is you cannot return multiple elements from the JSX. So here we are only returning one element. So let me just do the indentation properly. Okay, so you can see here I'm just returning div. Okay, now if I do something like this, then let me just copy it and hi, the same thing right here. So you can see what it is saying is JSX expression must have one parent element. So there is no one parent element, that is why it is giving this error. So either you have to put it inside a div or any other element like this. Okay, then it will be a valid JSX, or otherwise if you do not want to keep a div, then you just make it blank, this is called react fragment. Okay, it will not add extra element when it will be rendered. Okay, so this is another thing which you can do. So this is another rule which you must follow. So there should be always a root element. Now if you talk about the third rule, then there is always a closing tag. Okay, for example, here you can see we have div, then div has a closing tag. Okay, in case if any element doesn't have the closing tag, then it will have a self closing tag. For example, we have input, right? Input, then this input has a self closing tag. Okay, I can just put a value here, and value will be John. Let me save it and see the output. Okay, so then if every element should have a closing tag. If it does not, then it should have self closing tag. For example, input, or we have other let's say image is another tag which has self closing tag, right? So we need to follow that. Another rule is, in HTML, normally what we do when we write any event, we just follow the small case, right, while writing the events. But here in JSX we need to follow camel case. So let's say we have a change event for this input, then what we will do is on change, and this is camel casing. And again, this will be a variable, let's say handle change, and we will create a function over here, const handle change. This is an arrow function, and we will have event, and then we can console log the e dot target dot value. Okay, so just things to remember, this should be in camel case. So let me just do some change here. I have just opened the console. Some error. Okay, sorry. This is console.log. Okay, so let me write here. You can see anything which I'm writing, it is just updating here. But again, because we have not handled the value is always John, that is why it is printing like this. So let me see this one. You can see anything which I'm writing, it is coming over here. Okay, so this is how this event works. Even if we have any property, okay, so that will be in camel case. For example, in HTML we write class, but here we will write class name in camel case. Okay, and then any ABC, any class which you have written, you can provide over here. The next one is comment. Okay, so for commenting, you just need to do like this: brackets, start the bracket, then forward slash, then asterisk, then again asterisk, forward slash, and then this. Okay, shortcut is control forward slash in VS Code. Control plus forward slash. You can comment and then you can uncomment it. Next rule is conditional based rendering. Okay, so for conditional based rendering, what you have to do is, let's say you want to render based on the condition. So I will take an example here. Let me just remove this one, remove this one. So let's say if name is John, so if name, what we will conditional rendering, we will write inside the curly braces only. So if name is equal to John, then what we can do is we will do like hello, then we will say John, else we will do hello others. Okay, so for example, so now you can see here, I will just remove this one also. So you can see this is conditional rendering, where if name is John, then I'm saying hello John, otherwise hello others. Okay, let's see the output. So right now it is hello John. Now let me change it to mic. Now it should render hello others. Okay, so you can see hello others. So this is how we put the condition. Okay, so this is like a JavaScript which we are writing, but that should be inside the curly braces. You can consider it like this. Let's say I'm just moving this out of the JSX and I'm writing result, or I have given one variable, and then this result I'm using here. Okay, so this is also the same thing which we are doing. So in curly braces we normally write let's say JavaScript only. Okay, so this is same. These are the few rules which you need to follow when you work with JSX. Okay, and even let's say if you want to write some JavaScript code here as well. So let's say we have this hello others and you want to do to like two lowercase or two uppercase, right? Lowercase, that you can do, and this will be a valid code. You can see hello others. Okay, so what we have covered here is it is a syntax extension for JavaScript that allows you to use HTML tags or components directly inside your JavaScript file. So we have seen we are using HTML tags now. Okay, now one example I just want to give here how you will use component directly inside your JavaScript file. Let's go back to the code. So now you can see this is the component. This is a custom component which we have created. Okay, so we are already using component in JSX where we are using it in index.js file. So this is also a JSX syntax, and here you can see this is a custom component which we have created and we are using here. So it has the self-closing. So everything, see, it is following everything. It is only returning only one uh, root element. Okay, it is wrapped with the root element. Then it has the self-closing tag. Okay, it is a valid component which we are referring here. So all the rules it is following. So I hope you understood the definition now, and practically also you have understood what is JSX. Now, let me know if you have any comments or any questions. I will be happy to answer those. Thank you so much for watching this video.